Welcome, y'all. We're back. We got another video here going over some word problems that we are dealing with in our quadratic section. This is Math 112. All right, we're going to look at number 7 on your homework. So this is number 7. Whoops, wrong one. And in number 7, we have a sandwich shop situation, and we're looking at two functions. The first one says, it basically tells us in number 7 that we have a fixed weekly cost of $530, and your number can be different. And then we have variable costs. So we have fixed weekly cost, and then we have variable cost of each sandwich. So the variable cost is per sandwich. Okay, so for my problem, the fixed weekly cost is $530, and our variable cost is 65 cents. Okay, and since it's 65 cents per sandwich, so that's 65 times X, because X is the number of sandwiches sold each week. So X is the number of sandwiches. Okay, and the first thing they want us to do is write a cost function. C stands for cost. Remember, functions, the F of X is what we normally do, but that's generic. But when we're talking about a real situation, we use letters that mean things. So we're looking for a cost function. So this is the cost function, and it's the fixed cost plus the variable cost. So our cost function is going to be 530 plus 0.65x. That's our cost function. I think that's the first thing you type in. That's part A. In part B, it introduces us to a revenue function. Okay, now it gives us this function. We don't have to come up with it. And this is called our revenue function. Revenue is the amount of money that comes in. This is the revenue function. All right. And so in part B, it wants us to come up with the profit function. So we have to come up with profit. Now, the profit is revenue minus costs. And if you know anything about business or how that works, you spend money and then you sell it. And so you spend money and you make money. So the cost is what you spend and the revenue is what comes in. And you don't actually have a profit until you subtract those numbers and see what's left over. And so that's what the profit is. So our profit function is going to be the revenue function, which is what they gave us, minus the cost function that we calculated. And so that's our revenue minus cost. Now, remember, in Unit 2, when we introduced functions, we talked about the fact that we have the ability to add functions and subtract functions. And when we do that, we create a new function. So here is that concept that we can create a new function by taking the revenue function and subtracting the cost function. So this is our profit function that we're going to have here. And we're going to distribute the minus sign. All right, and then we have two like terms to create our profit function. We combine those two like terms and we get plus 2.35x minus 530. And so this is part B. This is our profit function. That's the answer to part B. Okay, now part C is asking us to determine the number of sandwiches, that's X, remember, to maximize our profit. Okay, so we're going to determine the number of sandwiches needed to maximize our profit. Now remember, maximum or minimum is what we're studying. That is what we're studying. Our profit function is a quadratic. It has a vertex, and the vertex is either the maximum or the minimum. And in this case, it is a maximum. This goes back to what we're studying. We have a quadratic function. How do you know it's a quadratic function? Remember, the x squared, the x, the constant. We have a quadratic function. We have a maximum on this one because the a is negative. We have a maximum. So we need the vertex. So to determine the maximum profit, we need to do the vertex. And we have a formula for that, so don't worry about that. So we're going to determine the number of sandwiches. Again, that's your x. And then we're also going to determine the maximum weekly profit. And this is our y. All right, so we're going to use our little formula. X is equal to negative b over 2a, which is going to take off the function that I just had. And that's going to give me, type it in the calculator very carefully, but these are calculator problems. So make sure you do it right, and you should get 1,175. That's the x for my maximum. That's number of sandwiches. Okay, and now to find out the profit that this amount is, this many sandwiches is going to make, I'm going to plug it in. Again, you've got to be very careful with your calculator to get these numbers correct. Ooh, running out of room. Okay, and these numbers that I get on my calculator, so again, just check your calculator to make sure you're getting them. And I hope I copied them right. I get 850.625. All right, so that's the profit, what I get right here. Now the question is asking for you to round because this is money. Remember, this profit's money. This is number of sandwiches. And this is how much money you're going to make. Okay, so when I round this to money, it's going to be $850.63. All right, so read carefully what this question is asking for. All right, so basically here's my summation, or the end of my problem. Weekly profit is going to be $850.63. And I calculate, or excuse me, I get this profit when I sell 1,175 sandwiches. All right, this is number 7 on your homework. Give it a shot. See if you got it. It's just math, y'all. Have a great day.